believe anyone said that raising minimum wage would throw people into poverty. I don't think that was the counter argument. Or
no, it absolutely is. I've had conservatives on this program argue that. Here's their logic. They say if you raise the minimum wage, what you're going to do is you're going to force businesses to have fewer people doing the same work with fewer people, which means that you're going to have a number of people who were working now unemployed, which means that they're going to be in poverty.
Okay, well, let me give you my conservative viewpoint about that. You artificially inflate the price of goods, making it harder for some people to afford them. Secondly, you put a strain on small business owners who are operating on very small margins. And lastly, you disincentivize people from trying to progress or educate themselves into higher earning positions. That's my position on it.
Okay, let me take those. Hang on just a second. And your third position was the ability to rise through the ranks, essentially. Number one, if labor was the only thing in the price of a product, then yeah, if you increase the price of labor, you're going to see the price of the product going up. So if, when minimum wage raises the price of, somebody mowing your lawn, yes, you're going to see slight, but for most manufactured goods, labor is actually a fairly small percentage of the product. And for most products that people buy in the United States, the labor cost is, it's a fraction. It's less than 10%. In some cases, it's less than 5%. Number one. Number two, if you've got a corporation that's very profitable, I let you do your riff. Let me finish mine. If you've got a corporation that's profitable, they've got money left over at the end of the year. What you're saying essentially is, your cost of labor is going to go up. You're going to have to pay for that out of profits. Because it's a competitive marketplace. Companies are competing with each other. They're not going to raise their prices because of competition. That's assuming you have competition. So I would say, number one, your assumption is flawed. And number two, with regard to the business model, you're saying you're going to have some small businesses or businesses, and whenever Republicans are saying, oh, we can't have a minimum wage go up, they always try to use the canard of small businesses. Most small businesses pay well above the minimum wage. Most of your minimum wage employees in the United States are employed by huge multi-billion-dollar corporations that are spinning off billions, in some cases tens of billions of dollars in profits. So basically, what I would say to them is if you've got a business model where you can't run your business successfully without exploiting people and paying crap wages that people can't live on, you should not have a business model that should exist in a country as rich as the United States. That is a belief that is shared. It's a consensus right across most of the developed world. Is why you've got a minimum wage in Denmark of functionally of $18 an hour. People make $18 an hour starting at McDonald's in Denmark. It doesn't mean that their burgers are more expensive. Their burgers are less than 3% more expensive than ours are. And finally, you said people can't rise through the ranks if they can't come in on the minimum wage. Again, that's nonsense. People can rise through the ranks no matter where they're hired on the financial spectrum.
No, I said it's a disincentive for them to educate themselves and try to progress.
Because they're making a good wage?
Promotions.
In other words, like my dad could raise a family working in a tool and die shop, therefore he didn't have an incentive to go to college and get a PhD?
Tom, we'll agree to disagree, but just two quick counterpoints again. One, labor is typically the highest variable cost for small business owners, and I think you should know that. And secondly, we're not talking about large multinational corporations. We're talking about Jim Smith, who operates a hamburger stand.
Then let me ask you a question here, Evan. Why is it that when Seattle raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour, and the minimum wage in Mississippi is still $7.25 an hour, why is it that when Seattle raised their minimum wage, they didn't see a bunch of small businesses go out of business? And why is it that you've got a bunch of small businesses in Mississippi that are hanging on by their teeth? My answer to that question, I'll let you answer it in just a second. My answer to that question is because in Seattle, when you give people a $15 minimum wage, they now have enough money to buy things. Buying things stimulates the economy and gives more business to those small businesses. That's not happening in Mississippi. Back to you.
Who works in Seattle and who works in Mississippi? You've got a bunch
We're talking minimum wage workers in both cases.
You've got a bunch of high-tech
No,
high-paid
I'm talking.
people in
I am talking
Seattle
about
who
people working at the
support
burger
that
stand,
system.
people mowing lawns,
Right.
people working construction jobs, people. Minimum wage workers in Seattle are making $15 an hour. Minimum wage workers in Mississippi are making $7 an hour. Seattle has a vibrant economy. Mississippi's economy sucks. It's because people aren't making enough money
right.
to spend
That's
money
right.
into the economy. When you raise the minimum wage, everybody benefits from it. Evan, I'm sorry, we're out of time. I got to run, but we'll live to fight another day. I look forward to a future phone call from you.